What's up, wealth builders? Today I'm going to talk about how to avoid beginner mistakes in real estate investing. One of the main things I see a lot of beginners do when they start to invest in real estate or when they want to invest in real estate is trying to do everything themselves, right? There's too many moving pieces in real estate investing. You can't do it all yourself, especially when you're new to real estate investing. So you got to make sure that you align yourself with the right people, whether it be a coach, whether it be a mentor, whether it be a coach and a mentor, right? You want to align yourself with people who have experience with doing real estate investing. Like you got a number of people that are involved in a real estate transaction. You have the lender, right? So you got to find out how to get funds for it. So you got to have somebody that can help you with that. You got real estate agents that can help you. Got closing attorneys that can help give you information. So it's very important that you are aligning with the right people that can help you through your journey. You can't do this alone, right? Even I've been doing this for a long time and I still work with other people to help me accomplish my goals. So it's extremely important that you align with the right people, assemble a team. You know, you're going to need contractors. You're going to need, like I said, closing attorneys. You're going to need lenders. You're going to need people that have been where you're trying to go. Right. So you can't do it alone. Like you're not going to be able to find out every single thing that you need to online. You're going to need somebody at some point to kind of walk you through that step and walk you through what needs to happen and when it needs to happen. So stop trying to do everything yourself. That's one of the biggest mistakes I see a lot of new or beginner investors make, right? Another thing is not understanding the numbers. This is crucial. You have to understand the investment, right? And like I said, there are a number of moving pieces when it comes to real estate investing, right? So you have to understand the numbers. For instance, you can't overpay for a property. You can't overpay. Like we teach you that you can't ever pay more than 70 cents on the dollar for a property, right? So if a property is worth $100,000, you should not pay more than $70,000, right? So knowing your numbers is extremely important. And it kind of lines up with that saying, you make money when you buy. I used to always think that that didn't make sense because I was looking at like, hey, money is made when I go to sell this real estate. But truth be told, the money is made when you buy the real estate. You got to buy it at the right price. So when you buy it at the right price, then it takes care of everything else, right? So knowing your numbers, knowing like how much the property is going to appraise for, knowing how much, the repairs are going to cost, knowing what it's going to sell for when you finish the repairs, or knowing what it's worth when you finish the repairs if you want to refinance it, right? So you have to understand all your numbers when it comes to this. And you can't overprice the property. What I mean is like once you improve it, you can't put it on the market for a too high of a price just because you fell in love with it, right? So make sure you understand the numbers, and you get better with that by aligning with people who has done what you're trying to do. So it's all about your network, right? You ever heard the saying that your network is your net worth? Well, that's true. So you make sure you get aligned with the right people to help you understand the numbers and to help you make a good investment. Another thing I see beginners doing is overspending and over improving. This is probably one of the biggest things. One thing is a lot of beginners and investors, they believe that, hey, I wouldn't want to live here. I wouldn't want to put this in my property. And I get that to some extent, but you got to look at the overall picture. You got to look at, the price points. You got to look at what's selling in the market. Heck, you might live in a $500,000 house or $400,000 house or $300,000 house, but we might be selling $150,000 house, right? So those things are going to be different. What you put into $150,000 house and what you put into a $300,000 house are completely different. So I see that a lot. A lot of beginners, they're like oh, I wouldn't put this in my property. I understand you wouldn't, because you're not going to live here, right? But you got to make sure you're putting in the things that make financially good sense. And, there are things that people in that price point they're okay with, really, because if you compare what's out there of properties that haven't been improved, it's in much better condition and it's a nice upgrade, right? So I see that a lot. People personalize it and over improving, right? You can't over improve for the area. You could put stainless steel refrigerator in the property, but you're not going to put a sub-zero fridge in there that costs, thousands and thousands of dollars, because you're never going to get that money back. So do not overspend and do not over improve. That's a sure way to lose money in real estate investing. You have to understand what works in a particular market, what works in a price point, what works in that price range. You have to understand all those little small nuances, these things that are, really important for you to be able to maximize your profits. Like, you're not doing this for fun, right? You're doing this to make money so you can feed your family or you can accomplish other goals that you want to accomplish. So it's very important that as a beginning real estate investor, that you do not make these mistakes. Thanks for tuning in, Wealth Builders. I'll be dropping new content every week, so make sure you subscribe and click that notification bell. I'll see you on the next one.